Hello, everyone. Well, I would like to talk about suitcases on wheels. You'll find if you go to Newcastle Airport that the retarded fuckers that are sometimes referred to as airport police. Yes, those corrupt people, the man and the woman. Yes, the one that steals people's underwear and therefore fits all the requirements of a sex fiend. That's right, yes, the one there who steals your fucking phone and doesn't tell anybody is in actual fact, you see, it's good, like suitcases on wheels. Yes, they like them. They don't like people bringing hand luggage, and they'll use this as a reason to hassle you. The reason they want to hassle you and stop you going on holiday and something else is, of course, because, in my opinion, the fuckers are being bribed to take these bloody great big suitcases, and they like the people with suitcases, and to hassle the ones that don't bring them. Yes, that means it is highly likely they're getting bribes from the baggage handlers and from the airports. It's interesting, isn't it, that? The fact that the airport police, that people travelling through all the time, if you ask them, they'll say, yes, you can book a ticket right here if you want to, it's not a problem. We'll then get pissed that you don't have a big suitcase on wheels. The stupidity of the fact that, basically speaking, somebody may only be going for a couple of days, it may not be a long holiday, that you have to bring a bloody great big suitcase for you, so if anything does go wrong and anything occurs, that there's not a bloody thing you can do about it because you've got a bloody big suitcase full of shite, doesn't enter into it. They just want their money for bringing in suitcases, you see. They want nice big heavy suitcases so they can charge you lots of bloody money so that you can then go and basically fuck up, lose a lot of your stuff on holiday, and that's what they want, you see, because these people are tow rags, you see. What we're looking at is complete and utter fucking morons. There's a woman there, you know, and she's got this stern look, and I'm thinking, love, you're about 4 foot tall, right? You know, what, I mean, your status would be no lower if you're a prostitute because you're basically a dishonest policewoman. You stand next to a guy who apparently was in Afghanistan. Pity that, because in actual fact he should have fucking stayed there because it would probably done less damage there as an occupying force of some fuckers else's country than he would in this country in the airport. Because, of course, he's increasing the amount of slavery in the country and the amount of people smuggling, which is good, isn't it? He's helping people smuggle people out of the country by turning a blind eye due to his own stupidity. That's right. I'd also like to point out, of course, that, you know, any of the people who are migrants, don't feel too bad about me if I'm pointing out things that are uncomfortable. I'm not against you at all. It's simply the fact is that the country you fled does the same thing that happened here. You see, I'm not saying this isn't a good place for you to flee to. The reality is they're not as tough, okay? They don't come down as heavily. Or if they do it differently. Meaning, if somebody in another country would cut their eyeballs out, here they wouldn't, you see, they'd just disappear for the rest of their lives, which probably could be considered better, see? You know, or they'd get maybe just a facial disfigurement, or they'd knock the teeth out, rather than blind the poor bastards. So, you know, if you came here, where I am, you know, you didn't make a bad choice, don't look on me badly. You know, don't look and say that also, because in reality, you know, I was tortured as well. I was tortured the place that you fled to, you see, and a whole lot of other stuff that you get. Because, you see, this country, we don't censor stuff anymore. Because our leaders like to be nice and liberal. You know what that means? It means they attack the poor bastards that created them. Like me and other people, exactly. And it's not a bloody place we can go to. No, because they fix that. They do a good job of that one, you see. Because they are very good at fixing it so you can't go anywhere else. Or so they think. Maybe we can, I don't know. Seems very unlikely. And reality, you see, is I like to pick people of a certain age. See, I'm 44. I might not look 44, but I'm 44. And they'll pick the point when they think in the right way. They knew that really, until I started writing books, my life was a lot more difficult, okay? All I had was these buggers stopping me doing anything. And the reason was that they didn't want me to do anything. The area I was in, all the different boxes were ticked that I was supposed to stay here and not really achieve anything, so that people who were from the elite but not very clever or gifted in any way could still have good jobs and lord over the top of everyone else. Now, this means, of course, when things did work out, they have a perfect target. They'll say, great, he's 44 now. You see, what we'll do is this. If he caused any problems, we'll take everything off him. Which meant if I did go into the country, I would lose my entire net worth is what I would lose. And I would probably at the same time still get booted God knows where and would lose everything. So I'd lose everything. I would probably be tortured constantly. Be sending people all the time. It would likely also be the case that there would be massive problems to deal with. They'd keep sending God knows how many embassy staff or torturers all the time to me. They'd make sure I lost passports, and I was hacked all the time, which I pretty much get that anyway, and everything else. So you see, that's the thing, you see. They've got it right the way down in reality, because I was never supposed to be. People like me, you see, we're not supposed to do anything. I'm not supposed to get a world record. My brother wasn't supposed to get 2. We're not supposed to do that. We're just supposed to be there, you see, so they can claim how brilliant they are. The reality is this: they're not brilliant, they're simpletons. Some of them, see, there's some clever people, but a lot of these people are basic simpletons. And we have to be the contrast, you see. So that's how you get public money gets sent. Nobody makes money in this country anymore. It gets sent and trafficked around, which means you've got money being sent to different social groups. You've got governments that are paying for advertisements they don't need, so newspapers get propped up. You've got people getting hired for jobs they can't do. It happens all the time. It isn't a meritocracy anymore. It's all fixed before things start off, which means nothing's supposed to occur. It's all supposed to be from this great plan, which means that the people they like and went to school with do fabulously, even if they're complete pillocks, yes, complete wallies, and everybody else gets nothing. It is really, that's what it's really about. It's that old thing, you see. If you're in this country, see, I don't have any ancestors that came from anywhere else. All my ancestors came from here. That means, you see, I can't claim another passport someone else because a mother and father came from somewhere else. I can't do that, you see. So therefore, they have no interest in me whatsoever. As far as they're concerned, I have been at this level for generations, and so I have to be here at the level they think I should be, which is the bottom as far as they're concerned, forever. I have to be there forever as a contrast so they look clever. The people who come in, they're migrants, they can actually move up, and they'll actually help you move up. And the reason they'll help you move up is because you say, you come from somewhere else. Now, the logic of this makes no sense. I could have been somewhere else, and what they did was, when I got there, which was Brazil, what they did was to stop me getting round. There was a little bastard in the British Airways who wouldn't contact people. I made sure I couldn't contact the people I needed to contact. Yes, and actually said, oh, I'll have him crying, he'd be begging me to do this. And that was what he actually thought. Oh, no, he didn't, because he's a brain-dead bastard, basically. I'll probably talk to more important people than he has in his lifetime. See, it's not owned by Britain anymore. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to do whatever they say. He wasn't even a British citizen. And the other things, of course, are basically, and then they go, well, now the kidnapper gets out, let's smash it. So that's what they wanted to do. They're basically wanting to cause me again the old thing that I would get killed or this would happen. And it's very easy to get killed in Sao Paulo because it's like the murder capital of the world, but didn't. I came out intact, you see. But that was their plan. They didn't realise that if you do smash something like that, then they come back to the same location, which means now the pain in the arse they thought they got rid of is being back for 3 months now. But you see, that's what you're dealing with. You see, you're dealing with the idea of torturers. What you're really talking about is people who are torturers who want to attack a certain group of people because we're not supposed to exist. The reality is, look, some of these universities are practically lobotomizing their own students. There's people there in these universities who aren't experts by any stretch of the imagination. They're giving doctorates to people who basically plagiarize work, but they're stopping people getting doctorates who were really good. There's people who get great minds and not getting doctorates. And the reason they don't is because of the academic death. They're giving doctorates to people who they think, the sort of people we think should have them, meaning people like themselves. So it's very, very difficult if you have a gifted brain, but it's different from theirs. And that's what we're actually dealing with right now. Okay. As I've said before, because I'm not careful, they'll say this is an anti-migrant thing, and it's not. Because I know people have settled here. I'm not trying to give you the impression not to come here. Because in reality, from my perspective, you know, they do torture. Like when they do torture, they do it worse than other places, you know. It's more like psychological torture. You end up getting funny masks and, you know, laser pointers across your arm and stuff like that, rather than watching somebody take your testicles apart with a knife and then deconstructing your face. So it is actually better, okay? It's not perfect, but it is better. But that's interesting, John Jarvis. I'm glad you're safe, brother. Well, that's the thing, you see, is that, you know, safety, it depends how you look at it. The reality is so weak the way they do things that you do end up being safer because they've got these plans. Everything has to be meticulous and in place. Because you see, they've got this problem. The problem is no one's armed. So somebody going getting shot in the head is a fucking nightmare because it'll get investigated. Many countries in the world, they wouldn't even lose a bloody sweat about somebody being shot in the head. It wouldn't mean anything. And the reason it would mean fuck all is because, so what, there's guns everywhere. You see, so they created this terrible problem. So unless you're going to rely on the DMAC, they've got to do it yourself. That's right. They've got to convince you to kill yourself. Something which they don't seem to have great success with. Okay. Then I can do another video now.